All right, and good evening to all of our viewers in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and southwest Missouri. Here's a look at the forecast that we've got. A couple of headlines to talk about before we get into the full details. We got widespread rain chances on the way. A couple strong to severe storms can't be ruled out, maybe in some parts of the area tomorrow. And if you have any sort of weekend plans, you're going to want to stay tuned throughout the weekend because there is going to be a little bit more widespread rainfall tomorrow, maybe even into portions of your Sunday. So let's get this started. Here's a look at what we got for overnight tonight. Anywhere from the upper 60s, lower to maybe even close to mid 70s, really just depending on the location. It's not going to be any sort of major change to the forecast overnight compared to the last couple of mornings. Some of that cloud coverage is going to keep those temperatures a little bit on the warmer side. Tomorrow afternoon, that's where we start to see some changes with the temperatures overall. Now, further to the west, it may be a little bit warmer, but in parts of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, it may be into the upper 70s for some of these locations, as well as lower 80s. Southwest Missouri, kind of the same old forecast, but area-wide with the cloud coverage and the rain that we're expecting, it's not going to be, too tremendous of a temperature rise tomorrow thanks to that activity. So maybe a little bit cooler, but unfortunately, if you're a fan of cooler air, you may not be able to get outside and enjoy it for all that, much throughout the day. Here's a look at what we've got in terms of the severe weather risk. Now, we're not talking widespread severe weather. There's a very, very tiny portion of our coverage area that's clipped by this severe weather risk, and that's to the south of Payne County. So, well, that being said, I want you to take that with a grain of salt. Just because it's a sliver of our coverage area doesn't mean that this couldn't change by tomorrow. But the other thing, too, is Mother Nature doesn't look at these boundaries and go, okay, severe weather is not going to be here. It's just going to be here. That's not how that works. And we've seen that time and time again where you get risks in some areas and then you get a little surprise storm. Now, the thing about tomorrow is it's not going to be widespread severe weather. It's not going to be widespread, and it's also not going to be the long-lived supercells. It's going to be scattered activity, and kind of like what we've seen in recent weeks, you may get some of that scattered activity. It's kind of, like the tropical activity you'll see in coastal areas where it's just kind of sporadic, and then one or two of those may start to produce some hail and some winds. We're not talking tornado risk with these tomorrow, but I can't rule out maybe one or two of these area-wide where you get scattered thunderstorm activity, and then one may start to strengthen just a little bit. That's kind of the thing that we're talking for tomorrow. Otherwise, not everyone's going to see that activity. There's a pretty good chance tomorrow that, most of us see some type of rain activity based off of the latest indications. Now, I want you to take this with a grain of salt further to the north and west, or it's into that medium range. This is accounting for tonight, but there's going to be more rain chances tomorrow morning, pretty much area-wide. So I think most of us, if not all of us, may see some rain activity based off of the latest indications. It's looking like some better coverage is going to be eastern Oklahoma counties into portions of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And to back that up, here's a look at what we got with the Weather Prediction Center's rainfall outlook. And you can see the one thing that's going to be different about tomorrow is it's going to be more activity, and it's going to be longer term activity throughout the day. So in terms of a washout, it's not going to be every single hour as a washout tomorrow, but it's going to be close because we got rain pretty much all day expected in some areas. And thanks to that, there could easily be some areas that see some localized rainfall amounts as high as maybe 4, I hate to say it, maybe getting close to 5 inches of rainfall. So with that being said, Tulsa Metro, eastern Oklahoma, parts of the River Valley, maybe even parts of northwest Arkansas, we're not going to declare weather alert day or anything like that on our end, but be aware that low-lying areas with poor drainage, and areas that are prone to flooding, there may be some localized flooding potential. It's one of those things that when I say 4 to 5 inches, you think everyone's going to get that, but that's not going to be the case. Area-wide, the majority of the area is going to see anywhere between, I'd say, 1 to maybe 2 or 3 inches of rainfall. It's these little pockets here, and you'll see we're feature scan here in a little bit, where there's going to be repeat activity, and it's going to be potentially heavy at times, that you could easily get some, localized areas that see as high as 5 inches. Does that guarantee there's going to be 5 inches of rain in these spots? No, it just means we want you to be aware of it. And here's a look at future scan radar. So we moved the timeline here so you can see a little bit better. Now, this is the time that we get to around 8 in the morning. There's that activity on the way. This is going to be during the morning for Tulsa, parts of northwest Arkansas, so farmers markets, other activities like that. You may want to bring the rain gear. Now, here's a look at what we got here. This is around 2 o'clock. And notice we got more activity in that area what that heavy rainfall projection is. Now, as we make our way into evening, overnight, it's still going to be fairly widespread. Now, as we make our way into Sunday morning early, scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue, and then it will make its way into the midday hours on Sunday, where we could have more rainfall then as well. So, in terms of the weekend, it's not going to be a washout for everyone, and it's not going to be one of those washouts where it's every hour of the day that's going to see that. But tomorrow, based off of the latest indications, it's going to be close to that. So if you have outdoor plans, bring the rain equipment, but also if you have plans that could be moved indoors, gatherings of friends and family, I'd find an alternative to that plan for tomorrow. So we bumped those rain chances up to around 80% tomorrow, Northwest Arkansas, and again on Sunday, because we've got activity that'll be early morning and then again midday, afternoon, and then the summer-like pattern starts to return Monday through Friday. And the thing that I didn't have a whole lot of time to go over today, because we're just going to be focusing on the rainfall for tomorrow, is the heat. And, stick around. I did a Facebook update earlier. If you are curious about when that summer heat's going to return, it's going to come back, with force by the time we get to early next week. And you may be looking at that going, well, that's lower 90s. When you account for the humidity, there's going to be some times where I think there is a potential we could start to see some heat advisories issued maybe as early as Wednesday or Thursday, because the humidity factor with these temperatures, it could be dangerously hot for certain people out there. And you're going to want to take it easy if you're working outside next week as well, because it's going to be quite warm. So Northwest Arkansas, River Valley, kind of the same thing. It's going to start to get maybe back into the upper 90s by the end of the 7-day forecast. Parts of Tulsa, northeast Oklahoma, Stillwater area, we got rain chances that are both, tomorrow and into Sunday. So just stay, in tune to the forecast tomorrow. Not the best day to be on the lake, in all honesty. If you're going to be outside too, bring the rain equipment or just alter your plans to be indoors for Oklahoma and or for our Oklahoma counties and for our Arkansas counties, because it's going to be a little bit of a rainy mess tomorrow. And then temperatures start to look a little bit more like summer. Now for Southwest Missouri, we've got rain chances basically all throughout the weekend. And I've been saying this too, don't cancel your plans, but it's looking like there's going to be some rain activity. So if you're going to places like Silver Dollar City, bring the rain equipment because it's going to be needed. It's not going to be an all day, every hour washout, but there is going to be the potential for that scattered shower and thunderstorm activity pretty much off and on throughout the day, tomorrow, and again on Sunday. Maybe some rain chances returning Monday, and then we've got summer back on the way for next week. That's a look at the forecast there. Stay tuned for the latest on the heat updates, and we will have the latest here coming up. If you like our media and forecast, be sure to support us today on Patreon. You can advertise with us this storm season and throughout the year. Contact us today for availability and pricing. Weather 225 since 2015.